This is Alex, a parrot who was part of an experiment about language in birds. He achieved basic communication and could answer simple questions. But one day, something extraordinary happened. He saw in a mirror his own gray feathers, a color unknown to him, and said, "What color?" Alex became like that, the first and only non-human to ever ask a question. It's incredible, just think about it. He was demonstrating his desire for knowledge. Besides, here we can see that the question is actually more important than the answer. And this is something that has happened many times in science, leading to new realms of scientific thought. The theory of special relativity, complex numbers, probability, and many other branches arose from questions that might not seem so important at first. For instance, a great mathematician, Henri Poincaré, studied a question that's especially intriguing to me. What's the shape of a rotating planet? Planets are spherical, right? But surely you've heard that the Earth flattens at the poles. That's because our planet is spinning, so the equator travels faster, making it bulge outward. So our sphere gets flatter, the faster it spins. But could it be as flat as we want? Well, it turned out it can't. Because if it spun very fast, it would be so big and thin that it would become unstable, and any disturbance will cause it to collapse. After collapsing, it will take on a new shape, an ellipsoid, some sort of rugby ball. Interestingly, there exists a dwarf planet called Haumea that spins fast enough to have this shape. Now, if this planet began to spin even faster, this rugby ball will stretch. And again, at a certain speed, it would be so long that it becomes unstable and will abruptly collapse. This time, the shape it would have is even stranger, that of a bullet. This is the answer Poincaré was looking for. But the question gave us much more. Over the years, it led to new branches of mathematics. One of these is the Catastrophe Theory. It was developed by another great mathematician, René Thom, when he wondered about the mathematics that explain why and how biological structures end up having the shape they have, like cells, organs, Alex feathers. He realized that during these formation processes, abrupt changes were taking place. Catastrophe theory, like the ones for the planets. Catastrophe theory appears in physics, in biology, in economy, even at your breakfast. Because if you put a mug under the light, you can see that there is this lit-up section called caustic. We can see that there is an abrupt change in illumination, and this is a true catastrophe. And the same happens at the bottom of a swimming pool. All these are caustics. So you can see that catastrophes are everywhere, surrounding us. So be on the alert for them. In fact, if you're alert enough, the next time someone asks you a question, you might not only respond it, but also open a new branch of knowledge. That being said, do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, and I think the answers will start with Clifford.
Do you have a question that you've been asking that may one day lead to something remarkable?
Yeah, actually. Well, I do.
Can you share it with us?
My work is how can we merge quantum gravity with how can we mix quantum mechanics with gravity? How can we get to the quantum mechanics? How can we explain the bigger and the smaller in the same theory? Which is one of the open, or the biggest open question in theoretical physics. And I don't know if I will ever make a huge advance on that, but as I said, sometimes the question is more important than the answer. And the question, this simple question, has led in physics to many, many, many new theories that might or not might be correct, but they're giving like a lot of knowledge already.
Are you just saying all of this because you know that's what I work on?
I did my research.
Do you especially value engaging with kids? Because sometimes they ask really profound questions.
I think that kids have a natural curiosity, and we should improve that. And in the sense that they should be asking questions. That's the more important, and maybe not giving them the answers. So yeah, I think I don't know if the question was exactly if I do or.
That's right.
Sorry.
No, I thought, yeah, I see what that question is very kind of relevant, because children do ask some of the most ridiculous questions. What does Alex ask?
What is Alex?
Alex, your bird.
The bird. It's a real experiment. Alex means avian language experiment or avian learning experiment, because sometimes they were cautious enough to not call that he was able to speak. But it was a fascinating experiment because he was really able to talk. I don't know if that's the proper way, but to communicate. He was able to, for instance, recognize shapes, sizes. They can ask, like, this is bigger or this is bigger. And sometimes he said, they're equal. And this was like, I don't know, for me it's blown my mind. Like, he was able to say that they are equal, which is quite an abstract thing, I think. That, okay, bigger, smaller, we can maybe get it. And he had like a lot of things. For instance, when he get a surprise, he get a prize, and he was expecting over and over again. Sometimes it was not there, and he got kind of angry. He got like, what is my prize?
Well, yeah.
Or sometimes it was he was surprised.
I think
and
you'll
it was
find
really
you've got
nice.
a parrot lurking behind you now.
It's all right, it's all right. I was just thinking next year we'll get Alex to do one of the presentations. Really good as well. He's big on catastrophe, but will he get his hands on a trophy? Juan Margalef from Spain.